Hey guys, it's Bree. I got back from WorldCon this last weekend and had the best I was really nervous going in only because I felt like it was going to be a really big event and I wasn't going to know anyone and there were going to be people there like Tamora Pierce and Mary Robinette Kowal and all of that good stuff. But also feeling a little bit better knowing that some of my BookTube buddies were going to be there. I've had this planned for quite a while now. Right when they announced that hotels and stuff were opening up, I was talking with Rachel from Culinati and Chris from Crispers Book Nook, and we decided we were all going to room together, which felt like a very big step in our friendship.
On the Thursday night to go and register for badges.
With our special guest,
About 9 Worlds if they had a really exclusive
Caitlin from Kitty G.
I think.
And so I drove down the Wednesday of conference. I left at like 6 in the morning. It was a ridiculously long drive. I didn't get there until 1 or 2. I think that sounds about right. And I got there and everybody was already at the con. So I trekked across the street from our hotel to the actual convention center and met up there with Rachel from Culinati, Chris from Crispers Book Nook, Chelsea from The Reading Outlaw, and Denise from Denise Harcourt. We later met up with Brock from Let's Read and kind of just proceeded to have a fantastic time. There was a whole lot going on. So the first thing I'm going to show you is actually my name tag and my ribbons. The ribbons are a surprisingly big thing. There are people around walking with them like looped like this across their chest like 2 or 3 times. I did not get nearly that many ribbons, but I do have my first WorldCon ribbon. There's a feather from Ada Palmer, iGrock Heinlein, Team Mystic, I Want Gypsy Silk. This one they were giving out at the Sifwood table and no one at the Sifwood table knew what it was. A Helsinki ribbon. I participated in site selection. I voted for New Orleans, but they didn't win. It's going to be in San Jose 2018. Not Tea But Blood, which is from the Lucky table, and one that says Caution Hot, which some guy was just giving out a collection of random ribbons, and that's the one I got. Also on my lanyard, I have some buttons. This little guy down here is a polar bear for Helsinki. One that says, So Glad I'm Not Delike. I'm on Team Anander Manai. And then this one is a memorial pin like in Ancillary Justice and Mercy and Sword. This is a memorial pin for Delike, who, if you have not guessed, is one of my favorite characters from that series. There were a ton of panels. I got to see some of my favorite people. As far as authors go, there was Joe Walton and Mary Robinette Kowal and Ada Palmer. Ada Palmer maybe secretly wants to be my best friend. I don't know that for sure, but she smiled at me a lot. And then there was a really fantastic editors panel where we got to see Ellen Datlow talk and Neil Clark and Lynn M. Thomas. Basically, all of the interesting things you can think about, there was probably a panel for that. There were, of course, also signings. I only got one book signed. That's my copy of Necessity by Jo Walton. She signed it right there. Instead, what I decided to do was to use my program. I didn't want to carry around a lot of books all day. I didn't bring very many, and I certainly didn't want to pick up too many just for the purpose of having them be signed. So I asked people to sign the front cover of my program. So I have Jo Walton and Ada Palmer. I think this one is definitely Tamora Pierce, Ken Liu. This is Becky Chambers. And I think this was one of the astronauts. Don't quote me on that. There were two astronauts who came and spoke, both of whum were fantastic and really funny. One of whom got to wear the diadem in place of West Chu, and I think that's his signature. Yeah. And so that was a lot of fun. It was surprisingly less time standing in line than you would have thought, except for Tamora Pierce. She did sign mine, by the way. It says "Girls Rule." She was basically fantastic and has this super little voice where she says things like, "Your suffering makes me so happy." I do have a bunch of books that I either purchased, most of which are actually from the free book table, where they were giving out, of course, free books. I'll be doing a separate haul of those. You'll see Necessity again there, because I did pick up this copy specifically for Jo Walton. On the last day, of course, that I was there, which was that Saturday night, was the actual Hugo Awards, and that was amazing. I wasn't really sure if it was going to go smoothly. I don't know if you remember last year's Hugos, but they had some streaming problems and like accidentally showed the Retro Hugo Award slideshow twice and all sorts of stuff like that. And of course it was disrupted by Puppy Madness. But I was really pleased. Pat Cadigan hosted, and she was very, very funny. You could tell she'd thought a lot about what she was going to say, and all of the other co-hosts were really funny as well. You know, Neil Gaiman dropped the mic. He wasn't actually there, and he still dropped the mic. And just all sorts of really cool stuff was happening. It was really... I was surprised by how much I really liked being in the room and how very different the tone of the awards was from streaming it. And of course, getting to sit next to all of my BookTube people was pretty fantastic. It was kind of like having a live tweet right there with you, which is, you know, also called hanging out with your friends. And then when it was time on Sunday morning, I went out to eat for breakfast with Rachel and Chris, and then got in my car and drove the long way back home. I'm really so glad I went. There's something really anxiety-provoking when you're an introvert. It's a lot different, the idea of meeting someone in person than talking to the camera and knowing that they're going to respond to you. You don't get to edit things. If someone isn't the way they seem, it can be kind of devastating after talking to them online for years. But I had a really good time, and there was just this sense of relief, knowing that, one, I already knew people, but I already liked them, and that I knew what their personalities were like. It was like we'd already met. It was just really smooth and peaceful, and like I felt like I fit in. Which, you know, I'm sure kind of sounds silly, right? Like, I just felt like I fit in, but I really did. I felt like I knew who I was, and I knew who the people around me were, what we would all enjoy. We were a good group. And I'm so happy I was there. I'm really looking forward to Helsinki. I'm looking forward to San Jose. And when they say the WorldCon experience is addictive, they're right. I'm really looking forward to it. If you are at Helsinki, or if you were at WorldCon this year or last year, let me know about your experiences. I think I was pretty lucky. Anyway, I hope you're having a fantastic reading week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.